life looks brilliant, give me more of this. I'm out of control, about to blow, and I've been caught in the undertow. So toxic, but I can't get enough. You bury me, bury me. Yeah, you bury me, bury me. You've got me hypnotized, push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized. I can see, I can hear, going crazy, but the light has got me hypnotized. You've got me hypnotized. Can get you out of my head again. Is it wrong? Is it right? It's like I've won my final war without a fight. I'm out of control, about to blow, and I've been caught in the undertow. So toxic, but I can't get enough. You bury me, bury me. I know you bury me, bury me. You've got me hypnotized, push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized. I can see, I can hear, going crazy, but the light has got me hypnotized. You've got me hypnotized. Can get you out of my head, get you out of my head again.
Please note.
Never gonna stop, never gonna change, never gonna do the things you say. I run my own way to get there. Things are calling and I don't seem to care. In the air, no more crowd, just the opposite kind of few clouds. So tell me the storm is coming for the sake of all your lies. Why don't you try to be why? Now that I need you anyway. I never wanted to be alive, just to feel like I'm fading. And though my heart breaks a beat and down, I cross the lines just to tell you, don't leave the way, don't leave the same. Then I try with a child's parade. I feel like I'm fading.
And boom, just like that, it's Thursday night. And you know what that means? It's double trouble right here on Ring Respect Radio. We are the Video Bros. I'm Bobby Munson, and the man beside me, he is the man with the angelic voice. He is Papa Smokes. Papa Smokes, happy Thursday. How are you doing, brother?
Woo, happy Thursday to you, Munson. Happy to be here. Happy to be doing Ring Respect Radio again on this most important of Canadian football weeks, where I'm feeling very patriotic with my jersey here. My blood runs blue and gold, and it has ever since birth. And we're rocking this week. I'll tell you that much. Canadian football, full in swing. NFL just starting tonight. CFL. Ooh, we're halfway through the season, baby. It's getting hot.
Yeah, we kind of have to, though, because unfortunately, once that winter season hits, there's not a whole lot of playing for outdoor sports anymore. But yes, your Bombers are doing quite well for themselves, and they might do very well for themselves again this coming weekend, Bob Spokes. I'm sure you're going to be rooting for it.
Yeah, I quite suspect so, but you never know, of course. That's why we got to watch every game and enjoy it. But for now, we got wrestling on the plate tonight, and I'm excited to talk local Saskatoon wrestling, PPW.
That's right. Yes, because we normally do this the Thursday before Prairie Pro Wrestling Papa Smokes, so that would bring us to next Thursday night, but we've got something else in store for next Thursday night. We've managed to book something next Thursday that I'm excited about. We're going to talk to, once a few more people trickle in and we get to that point of the show, we're going to make sure that we announce what we got going on for next Thursday. And I'm looking at the calendar here, Papa Smokes. I'm imagining on the 19th, we're going to be doing a lot of talking about what happened at PPW Revengicide, but it also means we haven't had a trip through the territories this month. So I'm thinking the last Thursday of the month, September the 26th, Ring Respect Radio takes a trip through the territories. What do you say?
Love it. My favorite time of the month. We get to deep dive into one of the old territories from before the exploitation and the complete takeover of the WWE, back when everybody had their own home territory, their own home TV show, back when all the wrestling promoters used to share talent and they all made money. Well, it ain't that way anymore. That's why we're going to take trips through the territories. We have to decide on a territory for next time.
We
This is
do.
always part of the fun part, too.
Yeah, we'll decide on it. At least we got a lot of time to prep for it again, too. Like we've
Mhm.
got shows planned. We're going to be talking about Revengicide here. This is the preview show. We'll be doing a post show on the 19th, talking about what went down at Revengicide as we lead towards the Ring of Horrors 3. But yes, next week, Papa Smokes, we'll get to that just very momentarily. Let's start by talking about this Revengicide coming up. I want to say that I made a statement on PPW's YouTube channel and across all of social media regarding ticket sales. So I will state it once again right here on the program. The way tickets are working now for Prairie Pro Wrestling is if you want a seat at the show, if you want to be in one of the seated spots at the Prairie Pro Wrestling show, it's going to cost you $30 per seat. And you have to message Prairie Pro Wrestling through Facebook to get the details about sending a transfer and getting your seat booked for Prairie Pro Wrestling Revengicide. I will have you know, seats are about 75 or 80% already sold. So if you want to make sure you guarantee yourself a seat, get your tickets today. Do not dilly-dally. They will sell out. And then as for the general admission, the standing room only, if you have picked up a ticket or you're going to pick up a ticket from one of Hunter's Bowl or Glitch Gifts in Saskatoon, $15 will get you general admission standing room once you're at the show. Now, for those of you who are like, maybe I'll wait till the day of, I'll think about it. Already, you're on the wrong track, my friend. You're on the wrong track. Because if you do that and you show up at our doors, not only are you not guaranteed a spot into the show because we are probably going to sell out at some point, and you may not make that lucky cutoff to get in, it's also going to cost you $5 more. $5 more, Papa Smokes. It's 20 at the door, meaning that anybody who is wise enough to go see one of our sponsors right now can afford to get themselves an extra drink at the Revengicide show that on Saturday.
Well, yeah, just more impetus. Get your tickets in advance. Get them well in advance so that you don't have to worry about it day of. And a lot of people like to have a seat. I personally like that standing room only. I'm a guy that likes to be mobile. I like to walk around. I like to go up to the bar and maybe kind of cruise through a little bit, get a few different views of the ring and all that kind of stuff. But if you want a seat, you really got to get your butt in gear.
You really do. So yeah, make sure that you're booking that today. Reach out to us on Facebook because that is where the people in charge of ticketing, one of them being myself, monitors. I do monitor all the social media for Prairie Pro Wrestling, but the one where myself and the rest of the team that it's involved with the ticketing side of things monitor the Facebook Messenger. So make sure to message us through Facebook. If you try messaging on the other socials, I'll eventually get back to you. Just telling you to do that same thing. So save yourself a step, go straight to Facebook and message us over there. It's going to be worth it. It's going to be a hell of a show, Papa Smokes, because again, a lot of things looking to be answered. A lot of build towards that Ring of Horrors card. And for those who haven't caught up on Prairie Pro Wrestling, you're not familiar with Prairie Pro Wrestling yet, we do have a YouTube channel. Go check it out, subscribe, get caught up to what's been going on. The Ring of Horrors has become our biggest show of the year. We kind of go all out with the horror theme around October. We had picked up the name Ring of Horrors a couple of shows ago. We liked that name so much that last year we went with it again. It was the Ring of Horrors 2. We're going to continue on. We have 2 consistent shows now that have been happening year after year, which I kind of like, Papa Smokes. We have the Ring of Horrors and Love is Dead. And it's nice to see that we finally got 2 of those established card names that have really stuck in the minds of the PPW Nation.
Yeah, and all the fans know that Ring of Horrors is kind of PPW mania, so to speak. It's the big show, the big weekend. You know that the build-up has been massive. You know that the tag team titles are going to be there, all shined and looking for a pair of waists to encircle. It's going to be absolutely awesome, Munson. And don't forget, there's going to be a fun battle royal for all the fans at the end of the night. Always unpredictable and a good time. It's going to be a rocking show.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be. Let's say we're going to talk about those things in a moment here as we say hello to Bobby Stats. Bobby Petito joining us up.
Hey, Bobby.
Now. Bobby, thanks for joining in. Really appreciate you. And Ed Fry's joining in. Say pop the smokes. And
Hey, Ed.
in the egg boiler. Damn it, he's going down that path again. Down the beaten path of going at me for my eggs Benedict love. I gotta ask you, Papa Smokes. Are you an egg Benedict guy? Do you like eggs, Benny?
Yeah, I like it. I don't often want to go through the whole process of making the sauce for it, but I like some poached eggs on a nice English muffin. Damn,
There we go.
good stuff.
There we go. Ed, you just don't understand the finer things in life, my friend. You and your fried fish fillets and whatever it is you've been picking up there, my friend. You gotta get yourself on the bandwagon of good with these eggs, Benny. It'll change your life. I'm telling you now. But yes, as always, go check Ed Fries out on all the great stuff that he does, including taking over on Tuesday nights with Astrid. Marvel Talk should be coming back right away, I believe, Ed. And also, Ed and I are hopefully going to have Ed and I for sure are going to be doing the review coming up here right away of Beetlejuice this weekend. But if the stars align and the schedules work out, then we will be having Josie Marie joining us. Josie was here earlier in the year, joining myself and Astrid on Killer Cuts, where we talked about the movie Abigail. So Josie, who saw Beetlejuice 2, is said that if her schedule is free enough, she will be joining Ed and I for this one. That's going to be huge. Love working with Josie. It'll be fantastic.
Sounds good, Bob. I didn't know there was a Beetlejuice sequel. Are any of the original actors going to be in it?
Yeah, so here's the thing. It's once again, it's Tim Burton behind the helm. It is Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice. You got Winona Ryder returning back as Lydia. Yeah, so a few others. Again, names are slipping. Obviously, there's a couple that will be omitted, but of course, they're bringing in Jenna Ortega in as a new character now. Lydia's daughter coming into the fold, and perfect current star that is going to bring new eyes to this as well too. I've heard positive things so far, so I'm very much looking forward to checking that out. We'll be seeing it tomorrow night, and yes, Ed, Monday will work for you. I will reach out to Josie, see if she is able to make that work, and we will get a Monday night review going on the channel for that movie for y'all. Bobby coming in saying the Andersons, CW Anderson and Brock Anderson versus Alex Kane and Mr. Thomas at MLW Fightland on September 14th. Well, first of all, damn you, MLW, for taking up another PPW night on us. But good on you, MLW, for putting a match that I would actually give a shit about. Like, look at that. I'm like, we obviously love Alex Kane and Mr. Thomas. Brock and CW Anderson, they're a tag team. They're an actual tag team. Maybe this is the start of something better for MLW.
I would hope so. That sounds promising to me. At least it's an attempt at, the Andersons, hardly the Minnesota wrecking crew of the past days, but we'll see, right? Let's give them some time. They're in tough with Alex Kane and my close personal friend, Mr. Thomas, of course, but that should be good. I could see that being a good match.
You bet. Yeah, looking forward to it. And everybody, make sure to stay tuned. In a little bit, we will be announcing what we've got on Ring Respect Radio for you next Thursday night. Well, let's go back to PPW and talking about tag teams. This is a great segue that Bobby brings up with tag teams. Papa Smokes, we've got some tag team turmoil going on in Prairie Pro Wrestling at the moment. As you said, we are looking to find the very first Prairie Pro Wrestling tag team champions. And we're going to do that at the Ring of Horrors on October the 26th. We have that show between. We've got on the 14th, we've got Revengicide, and we know those teams have all got something to say. It seems like the ones that have really been sticking in the minds of the fans in terms of their favorites would be the Clandestine Society and then also the Short Kings. But lurking back there, and whether the fans like them or not, the Brotherhood are making a dangerous statement when it comes to the tag team picture in PPW at the moment.
Very much so. And you've just named three of the top tag teams in PPW, three that should be clear favorites to be standing at the end when the tag team titles are being handed out. Let's not forget El Asesino and Zoe Sager showed a very strange but effective chemistry in that team. I wouldn't be surprised to see them make an upset or two and go deep into this tournament, so to speak.
Yeah, tournament or finding out who's who knows what's going to go on, Papa Smokes. Again, we will hopefully have these answers coming up for you, everybody at Revengicide, determining who we'll see in that tag team match at the Ring of Horrors. Will it be more than one team involved? Like, that's the question. PPW management want to find out who is out there. They want to know who's the best of the best, but could they just go, let's put them all in there and see what happens. Let them beat the living hell out of each other for 20, 30 minutes, whatever it takes, and find out really who is the top team in all of Prairie Pro Wrestling.
Well, that'd be one way to decide it, but for sure, they've got to catch the eye of PPW management. You know, there's a promoter, there's a director of talent relations, there are other officials back in the PPW offices that want to book the best matches for the fans. They want to book the money-making matches, and we want to see the best competition against their best competition. We want to see the cream rise to the top. That's what we're going to do. I think Revengicide is going to be a wild card because this is the last chance all these teams have to make an impression, not only on the crowd, but on the management, the promoters in the back. They've got to make a splash. So there's no coming in and wrestling half a match or wrestling 3/4 of a match or not giving it the full effort. This is going to be wild. We're going to see teams that will not give up. We're going to see teams that put it all on the line to get the pinfall in their match in order to make it through to Ring of Horrors where they could get a chance at those shiny new belts. It's really the opportunity of a lifetime. You got to take this opportunity and win.
Yeah, they definitely do. So we'll find out more about that on the 14th for sure. I want to take a step away from Revengicide for just a moment, but this is still PPW related, Papa Smokes, and I kind of made this announcement on the post-show to Bash in Berlin the other day when somebody brought up the idea of Braun Strowman having a match at Bash in Berlin, and I legitimately had the scoop for a change, my man. So, yes, obviously, Braun Strowman has been in Saskatchewan or was in Saskatchewan just this past previous week. He was in here filming the New Zealand horror film, Deathgasm 2, and it's going to feature some of the Prairie Pro Wrestling talent. I can tell you now that both Phil Deadly and El Asesino, masked or not masked, I'm not sure, do make a cameo in Deathgasm Part 2. So Prairie Pro Wrestling going to be credited to this official movie. It is real cool. And one more thing I can announce right now, too, is closer to the time of release of Deathgasm 2, I have already pre-booked at least one interview from that movie and maybe two. So the lead actor and lead actress have gotten back to me so far, and I've made an agreement definitely with Kim, the lead actress, to do an exclusive interview here on the channel that's going to talk about the time filming the movie as well as that connection with Prairie Pro Wrestling as well, too.
Very cool, Munson. What a scoop. And you're always doing good work getting people onto Ole's channel and just bringing it forward. The real tip of the hat to the wrestlers that appeared in a movie now, too. Just kind of getting their names out there, getting their feet wet in front of a different kind of camera than they normally have with you and I filming them at ringside. This is now potentially the big time getting into a New Zealand horror movie. Tip of the hat definitely to Phil Deadly for being in that, and then El Asesino. Munson, is there anything this guy can't do? The charisma is just overwhelming. they had to have him in the movie. You have to get a guy like that on camera. His persona is larger than life.
I'm sure they were absolutely begging to have Al Assassino on their movie sets. Bobby saying that Zoe Sager is good. I think by next year she will sign by MLW or TNA. You want a good example of this, Bobby? In just a couple of weeks on the Prairie Pro Wrestling YouTube channel, you're going to be able to see Zoe Sager one-on-one with Michael Allen and Richard Clark. We just got done calling the commentary on it. It may be one of, if not the best match on the PPW 2024 calendar so far. It was that, I say that now and then I go, nope, sorry, I got to pull that back. There was when Colton Kelly won the title from Shiki. That was a classic. So I mean, but it is in that conversation right in there, if you ask me.
Can't disagree with you there. Like you said, we just called that match tonight, and I remember filming it. I remember being impressed by it that night. But wow, just Zoe Sager continues to impress me, not only with the kind of the new attitude she brings to the ring and the new confidence, but she's tough. Munson, did you see some of the butt kicking she took in that match and some of the punishment she dished out? She's got a right hand to her now. It's really good to see her. We've watched her since the very beginning. She was always a dynamic performer, but she's really coming into her own. The last year or two, we've seen a maturation of Zoe Sager, and I love her current attitude. It's all about her. She doesn't care what the fans think or what anybody else in the wrestling media thinks. She's out for number one. You can see that she's reaping the benefits from that.
Yeah, you bet. Ed saying that he wants to see Sheik and El Assassino for the tag champs. Well, I don't think that partnership's happening again anytime too soon, as far as I can tell, because we did see, again, we should mention, Sheik had a partner not that long ago, but he's got a situation to take care of that we're going to be talking about heavily here today too. But not that long ago, we saw Sheik Akbar Shabazz and Barak Karani making a formation in PPW, and good God, Papa Smokes, that finisher known as Murder, it lives up to its name. I would not want to be the person on the receiving end of that. And again, I saw the clips from the West Edmonton Mall, Love Wrestling doing their show over there, and they did that to the I know Bass likes to call them the Da Vinci twins. I think they're the Voros twins is the actual name, but I don't know. Has anybody heard from them since? Are they still alive after that one? Because good God, they look like they just about died on that move.
Oh, absolutely. That was such a good clip. And that move is just, there's no other name for it. It is legalized murder somehow. And they sent that Voros twin right back to Da Vinci land. That guy's still seeing stars to this day.
Yeah, it was deadly. So, but, for us to find out more about that team, we would need to find out whether or not Shiki's still going to be our champion, or is he our champion, or what the hell's going on with the world title picture here, Papa Spokes, because we've said it many times before. There were a lot of shenanigans involved with the main event at the last Prairie Pro Wrestling show. People want answers, and people are going to be hopefully getting them very soon. We're going to be talking about that in just one moment. But before we talk about that big matchup, I want to show what we've got coming up next Thursday night right here on Ring Respect Radio. Bob Smokes and I have been talking a lot about SPW out of New Zealand. The folks there have become fans of our program. I've been talking back and forth with some of the wrestlers, some of the crew back there, wonderful human beings. And you know what, Papa Smokes, just over the last couple of days, I've really been shown the divine light, because this man right here, James Shaw, former SPW Tag Team Champion, 17-year veteran in the business, is going to be joining the Video Bros live on Ring Respect Radio next Thursday night. Man, this is the best part, is this was right after you talked about him last week, and I said, let's make sure he gets you an autograph poster for that wall behind you, and I think we're going to make it happen. We're going to make that happen. James Shaw is going to be in your life for a long-ass time, Papa Smokes.
No, I'm loving this, and what a great little relationship we've gotten going with the New Zealanders. And there's been a little bit of chit chat online, a little talk about the Wall of Fame in the back there. And let me tell you something, James Shaw, if you're listening, I'm so excited that you've decided to come on Ring Respect Radio. I can't wait to have a chat, and I'm going to make sure there's a space on this wall for something that involves you. Hopefully a picture, hopefully a signature as well.
That would be fantastic. James Shaw is better than Hank's Ben. You know what? I'm not even going to argue with you on that. I mean, he's our guest next week, so I'm not gonna take that argument up at all. And Bobby's saying, "Let's go." I agree. Let's go. We
Yeah,
can have a lot more people from SPW on in the coming weeks and stuff like that too. Looking to maybe
love
line
to.
up some more interviews and do a lot more focus on the independent scene here, Papa Smokes, because I think that we've really made a splash and really made that our good niche. I think we've come to the conclusion we're going to hit those territories. We're going to hit you with the independent stuff. And every once in a while, when we're feeling like it, we're going to throw out that wicked little trivia night that we do every once in a while here on the show. And I think that's going to be the focus of Ring Respect moving forward.
Sounds good to me. That's a nice little rotation lineup. And I know when it comes to trivia night, I've been talking to the BDJ, and he's been holding that Twitch belt high over his head. He's really proud of that, and he's really got it in his mind. Let's see if he can defend it on the next trivia night.
Well, we definitely have September all booked up, but I think I might have to cook something up for good old October, the spooky season. We might have to have a very special, as Melball would call it, a spooky ooky version of that trivia night here on Ring Respect Radio. Instead, trying to call out BDJ as the fake champion. You might want to show BDJ that one next time you see him, Papa Smoke.
Oh, boy.
Talking already.
Yeah. He's always down for a little good-natured dissing fight there. This should be good.
Yeah, it'll be a hell of a time. So we'll make sure we announce
EDJ,
that well in advance.
EDJ likes Ed Fries, likes to watch the podcast, likes it when he's on our show. So it's all amongst friends and everything, but I still look forward to the fireworks.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be fantastic. So that'll be coming up in October. We'll make sure to make a good announcement for you all on that one. But yeah, let's go back to Prairie Pro Wrestling because that's why we're here tonight, Papa Spokes. Prairie Pro Wrestling and that Revengicide. We need answers to that title picture. Hold on here. Ed said, I've got an idea for the spooky quiz. Well, I like ideas, Ed. Make sure to message it to me or let me know. I'm open to ideas as long as nobody thinks that it's rigged in your favor. Then, let me know what the idea is and we'll go from there. Yes. There we go. So, all right, back to PPW, that main event picture, Papa Spokes. Those shenanigans that we saw at the last show. The championship changed hands, or did it change hands? We really don't know. There was more than one official involved. The officials were taken out. Another official made a count. PPW management comes out, says, no way, not like this. Shiki says, to hell with you, beats the piss out of the management, takes the belt, and as they say, possession is 9/10 of the law. Is Sheik Shabazz our champion or not? Or are we going to get an answer to this? Is something going to happen at the next show?
Well, as a member of PPW, I don't want to take sides too much, but let's look at the facts here, Munson. A pinfall happened in that match. Colton Kelly's shoulders were down for a 3 count. And that's the end of a match that you can't go back after a match is finished and after all kinds of shenanigans happen after the match. You can't just go back and reverse a decision hours, days, and weeks later. I think whatever's been done has been done. And I get it that Crash Crimson, he's also not, he's a biased official as well as far as PPW goes because him and Sheik Shabazz have a violent and physical past from before too. So is he making an unbiased decision in this, especially since Sheik just laid another beating on him after this match that we're talking about in question? So, yes, there were very many shenanigans. Yes, there were 2 referees in the match. Is one official and one not official? Hard to say, but that's the way it happens in PPW. If an official goes down and is injured, the backup official will now enter the ring. Now this guy's in control. So I don't see how Sheik could not be the champion after this. I realize it's not what PPW wants to hear. It's not what the fans want to hear. It's not what the other wrestlers want to hear. In fact, it's a living nightmare for the members of PPW Nation that I've talked to. They're absolutely dreading another Sheik title reign. But my other question is, what are we going to do about it? there's nothing we really can do about it. This is one side of the argument. This is how I feel about it. What's done is done and can't be undone at this point. What do you think, Bob?
Yeah, it's a tough situation. It's what old Ed wants to hear. Of course he does. And Ed's thrown this challenge at me. Yeah, let's just detour for a second here, saying he wants to write the questions and disqualify himself from competing in the next trivia night. And
Ooh.
my hand to play the game.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
The challenge has been thrown down, Ed. You know what? I'm going to accept. I will be on screen along with Papa Smokes, but the Video Bros will compete and we will hand the reins of hosting Trivia Night over to you, Ed, on that very night. I will play the game through Twitch or YouTube or whatever it is and compete that way, but I will be on screen just to navigate, it being we're the Video Bros. That's kind of our thing. So yes, I accept. And I'm going to lose. I've done trivia before. I did trivia against Tom Collahue and Lauren Goodnight, and I got my ass handed to me, man. So I'm not going to do very good. Trust me about this. Bobby's saying it's interesting. Yeah, it'll be interesting. You're gonna watch how little I actually know. That's why I like hosting it, because then I sound smart when really I'm just copying other people's ideas.
I suspect a setup, Munson. I think you just got caught by Ed Fries. I don't know what he's got up his sleeve, but I think it's something, that little evil laugh he just typed out there says volumes. I can't wait to see this. But of course, I'll be sitting in on it too. And we'll try and get the BDJ in on this too, as well as Bobby and some of our other trivia friends. Oh, we got some heat going for this next session.
It's going to be a good time. Looking forward to it. Thanks, Ed, for choosing to do that. Be happy to have you hosting it. It'll be a different take. So let's go. I say, let's go. But back to that title picture. You're asking me my thoughts. Now, again, I understand where you're coming from, Papa Smokes, but we have time and time again seen this. It's one referee down, two referee down, three referee down. Nobody finding Sheik for these actions that he's taken. Once again, this should have been a point where he was disqualified maybe 2-3 times over in this matchup. But because of the referees being out, not able to make that call, another official comes out and it just feeds back into Sheik's hands again and again and again, which is why finally Crash Crimson stepped in and said, no more. I'm not having this. We're not having the title change on that hands. And he wanted it restarted with an official there to make the proper fall at that point. And Sheik took matters into his own hands. Now, I believe the PPW management has and will acknowledge that Sheik is the champion, that the official made the call and the belt is in his hands. Like I said, 9/10 of the law. He's got possession of that belt. What are you going to do about it? Well, Colton Kelly has been to that damn dance before, Papa Smokes, but maybe it's time that something gets sanctioned where Sheik Akbar Shabazz has no advantages. Maybe this is an all-out war between these two. No, the only thing the official is there for is to make the count. How about, or better yet, why don't we restrict the only thing that has saved Sheik's title reign in the past? And that is he cannot keep his title if he gets disqualified or counted out in this matchup. Sheik must win by pinfall or submission, or the title will still change hands.
Well, I hear what you're saying, Munson, but why don't you just make him tie his hands behind his back?
Well, maybe I should after what we saw. Maybe we should.
Well, what you're suggesting is just setting it up so that doing everything that the company can to make Sheik lose the belt. That's just not kosher in my world, Munson. You can't be doing that. He's got to have the same even playing field as Colton Kelly or any other challenger to the belt has. I don't agree with turning on him with rules and regulations. That's not democratic. You can't be doing that. You can't punish him through the law. What should happen is a match on even playing field and see who the better man is. If it's the Sheik, then we all got to shut up.
Okay, well, here, let me make it a little bit more interesting. If I was the matchmaker in this situation, I give Colton Kelly this opportunity to reclaim that title. And I say, all right, Sheik, you get disqualified or counted out. A loss is a loss. You're losing your belt. But on the other hand, Colton Kelly, if you don't get this job done this time around, if you cannot finish the Sheik, finish the story, and get your belt, then this will be the last and final time that you challenge for the Prairie Pro Wrestling Championship ever.
All right, Munson. Now we're getting somewhere. This has got to be even on both sides somewhere. If Sheik is going to be punished for his actions, then Kelly should also have an obstacle to overcome. This is getting closer to it, I think, Munson. It can't just be everybody against the Sheik time. The Sheik's got to have even playing field as well.
And my biggest question is, do you think that we're going to see a rematch like that occur at Revengicide, or is Sheik going to weasel his way out of defending the belt? Is he going to force his way into a tag match or defend the belt against somebody else? One of these Weasley Sheik ways that he's got about him to assure that Colton Kelly can't get his hands on him at a Revengicide. And with that being said, whether he weasels his way out of it this time, do you think he's going to manage to keep weaseling his way out of it, or is he going to end up having to face the call of Colton Kelly sooner rather than later, and that could end up being at the Ring of Horrors?
Well, you pose an interesting scenario, though, Munson. I can't say for sure, but I know that part of the entire business of professional wrestling and part of making it up to the top of the card and making it to that heavyweight championship status is politicking. And you can have all the skill and all the verbal smarts in the world that you want, but ultimately you've got to get your way up that card. Probably going to step on some fingers and toes along the way. You might not be the most popular guy, but look at the way Sheik has risen through the ranks of PPW from his first appearances at Food Truck Wars all those years ago to the way he made himself the superstar of this company, the top guy of this company. Has been through very intelligent matchmaking, some kind of a relationship with the promoter, and that getting the quality matches and then winning those matches. So I would say that part of the Sheik's skill in remaining champion is taking the right matches, avoiding the hard matches, avoiding those situations that might put that championship in peril. And after last card, he's not going to want to get in the ring with Colton Kelly again. And in fact, despite the fact that I like and respect Colton Kelly a whole bunch as a wrestler, he's had several chances to get the job done. Once he did get it done, and he has been the only other PPW champion in history besides Akbar Shabazz. But does he go to the back of the line now if he has lost the title to Sheik Shabazz? I say yes. I say there's other contenders chewing at the bit to get at Sheik Shabazz to try and get their hands on that beautiful green and gold belt.
You make a very strong case, and there are other contenders. We've seen many people on the rise in Prairie Pro Wrestling. We've seen many people who have got a great storied past. Let's talk about one of them right now, because unfortunately for him, he's wrapped up in his own turmoil as it is, and probably won't be seeing that matchup happening anytime soon. And if he does, he's got a real SOB lurking in the background trying to take him out. Michael Allen Richard Clark, probably one of the biggest names we've got in Prairie Pro Wrestling. He's got one of the best win-loss records across the board for us in the years that he's worked for us. Could be looking at PPW Gold, should be looking at PPW Gold, but he's got this nagging SOB El Assassino in the background causing him problems, and no better time for Auntie Collins to join the party than when I'm calling El Assassino a real SOB. Love you too, Auntie Collins. Unfortunately, the Honor Ramble not going on tonight, but hey, we know how to ramble here on Ring Respect Radio, so come on over. All of you ramblers, come on over. Papa Smokes and I will bring the party, and you'll enjoy it. And in honor of Auntie Collins, or else. There we go. It's been said. There we go. Auntie Collins, thank you for joining us here on Ring Respect Radio. But yeah,
Hey, we're picking up for them a little bit. I know that they talk about breakfast quite a bit, and we've already brought up Eggs Benedict today, so we are kind of trying to fill in for the Honor Ramble just a little bit.
Yeah, we did. The eggs Benedict did get brought up. It was brought up. Auntie Collins is also against the Eggs Benedict. Auntie Collins more of a chicken McMuffin breakfast person. So, Eggs Benedict, we really have the Canadians mostly defending the Eggs Benedict so far, Papa Smokes. Team Canada is Eggs Benedict all the way. And yes,
Okay, more for us.
that's right. That's right. We'll keep all the eggs Benny on this side of the border. That's just fine. But moving back over to PPW and El Asesino again, we saw it as we were calling commentary before going live here, Papa Spokes. El Asesino faking an injury, pretending he was injured. No, none of this miraculous bullshit recovery. No. That guy went and sold us on being injured. Oh, woe is me. Oh, my neck hurts. Oh, my arm's in a sling. Oh, I'm walking with a cane. Only to go lay another goddamn beat down on Michael Allen Richard Clark after. There's no miracles there, Papa Smokes. Only devils.
What's happened to you, Munson? You used to be human. You used to have a heart. You used to have sympathy when somebody would get injured in a wrestling ring or on a sports field of some kind. You used to have a heart and you used to show some sympathy for the person that's fallen. I can't believe this attitude. El Asesino comes out with a neck brace and a cane and his arm in a sling. It was just absolutely awful to see. And like I said, every wrestler's got a journey that they want to embark on, a journey through the world of wrestling, hopefully to the top. And to see El Asesino's journey interrupted like that, it's like they've taken everything from him. It just breaks my heart.
Everything from him. He has no reason to be going and getting in people's faces. This guy wants to beat people up with chairs, hurt them, make them bleed, make them suffer. He doesn't want there to be a PPW roster, Papa Smokes. And so Michael Allen and Richard Clark got tired of it because these two have never liked each other from the day they met, however many years ago that was, quite a few years ago. These two have had bad blood with each other. So Michael Allen and Richard Clark came in to save the day with a few people that he respects backstage and said, no more of this bullshit. And now time and time again, chair attack. That's all we ever see from the Mexican Devil. When is it going to come to a boiling point? When is El Asesino going to get the cojones enough to step in the ring with Michael Allen and Richard Clark one-on-one?
Munson, you're being so insensitive here. He's had serious injuries in the ring. He's a hell of a competitor. I know personally that he's working on physiotherapy at a clinic. He can move his head just a little bit side to side now. It's coming along very well. And you saw at the last show that he looked very stiff and looked very immobile. But as soon as he got the ring in his sights, you could feel the wrestler's energy. It just propelled him into the ring, and he wanted to get back in there and compete. It's so inspiring to a guy like me just to see him fighting through the adversity like that.
Oh, good God, Papa Smokes. My stomach is starting to churn, but things just got better because Astrid's in the house joining us on Ring Respect Radio. Astrid, how are you doing this evening? Thank you for joining us. Ed piping in again because Ed's always got your back for some reason, Papa Smokes. The cojones. Yes, the cojones. Come on, Munson, how dare you? How dare I? How dare I? I dare. I've been shit talking El Asesino, that SOB, since the moment I met him. I don't care at this point. It's like, yeah, he is a very established wrestler. He is a very feared man. I know he is dangerous. I am not for a second doubting the fact that if I ever have to step up to that man, I am going to get hurt. I am going to get hurt badly. But at the same time, I'm not going to sit back like some of these other absolute sissy announcers out there across the globe that don't want to step up and stand up for what's right. And I'm going to stand up for it right now. El Asesino, you are a talented wrestler. Show it for once instead of bringing that goddamn chair to the ring with you.
Oh, you're a hero, Munson. You're really just, we look up to you, just crusading for the side of good here. Munson, I want all the people that haven't watched old HIW matches to see that clip where you thought you were going to get lippy with El Asesino, and he called you right into the ring by your full name. I was sitting in the crowd thinking, oh, shit, Munson is in trouble now. And he called you out, and he berated you verbally, and he was just about to slap that silly little grin off your face before you got saved by Jeff Tyler and Mike McSugar.
No,
Those were the guys.
believe it or not, Bucky
McGraw.
at the time.
Oh my God, it has been a while because he's changed his tune since then.
And can believe it or not,
You barely made it out of there.
You accused me of siding with the Brotherhood recently. How dare you?
No, Munson, we need to get that clip going again because you looked more afraid than anyone I've ever seen, and for good reason. And like I told you at the time, I was sitting in the crowd and I started edging my way up to the crowd barrier thinking, I should get in there and help Munson. I should stand up for my video, bro. Then when I saw Assassino and Dice Steel in the ring, I thought, good luck, Munson. Good luck. You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Yeah. I was worried. Don't get me wrong. I'm looking in the face of a very terrorizing human being, a very threatening human being in the form of El Assassino. And again, I might be a big dude, but I am no wrestler, Pop Smokes. I am not the guy that's going to get in there and start being able to put on a wrestling match. But if I have to step in and stand up for what I think is right, I'm also ignorant enough to go in there and stand up for what is right and take the beating that's going to come to me. And that's where it goes with El Assassino. And Ed, if you want to clip it for him, send it to him. And you can tag that GFY just for him. He'll know exactly what it means. But anyway, El Assassino has been getting under my skin again. I've been trying to call it down the middle since we started Prairie Pro Wrestling, Papa Spokes. I've been trying to make this a very sports-like atmosphere time and time again. And then all I keep seeing for the last 2-3 years is this guy coming down with chairs, laying beatdowns on new wrestlers coming up through the rank, laying beatdowns on wrestlers that we're bringing in from one province over, as if he wants to be the only man standing in all of Prairie Pro Wrestling. But then this weird thing happens. This weird intangible thing happens all of a sudden. Zoe Sager has been siding with El Assassino. Wait, what is it? You seem to have the inside scoop on El Assassino, my friend. What the hell's going on?
Munson, it ain't your business to know. And when it is the time for you to know, I'm still not going to tell you. You can wonder as long as all the PPW Nation are wondering what's going on with this seemingly an odd couple. But like we've talked about, Zoe Sager has roared into PPW since she's been back with an all-new attitude. She doesn't care about the fans or what anybody has to say about her. She's looking out for number one. It's a very impressive attitude to have, and you can see why it might attract the attention of another wrestler who takes that same attitude, and that is the Mexican Devil, El Assassino. He's not one much to have anyone next to him, a right-hand man or woman, so to speak, in this case. He usually is the lone wolf. But this time he's got someone who he can trust and who's got his back, and he's going to have her back. So this makes El Assassino even more dangerous. As we've noticed in the past few Zoe Sager matches, she's getting extremely dangerous too. She used to play by the rules in the ring. She could beat anybody on the roster just in the ring without any shenanigans, without any help from the outside, any distractions, any cheating, any closed fists, stuff like that. But now that Zoe Sager doesn't give a damn about that stuff, she's much more dangerous and much more successful. A smart wrestler and a smart businessman like El Assassino recognizes that, wants to be in that aura, in that intangible aura of Zoe Sager. Smart, very smart. And you guys are going to find out what they're up to soon enough. Don't you worry about that.
Sure we will. Bobby asking which company will sign El Assassino. Let's just put it this way, Bobby. Let's play devil's advocate for a moment. Assassino's more towards the end of his story career. I would say chances of another company signing him, I think, are not going to necessarily happen. I think work in the Western provinces for El Assassino is going to be the last go around. Now, if one of the big boys rolled through town and we're looking for somebody to step in there and cause some mayhem, by all means, I'm sure El Assassino would take the spot, but I do believe we are seeing more towards the end of his current career. But if we were to go back and say this is a younger El Assassino, Papa Spokes, and he's ready to go get signed by a company, I would say places like TNA, MLW, stuff like that would be right for the pickings, especially right now for an LS Casino to join up.
Yeah, for me, you see, it would be WWE. I think the guy's got what it takes. He's got the mind. All he needed was an opportunity, but those are slim to come by when you're from sparsely populated Western Canada. And the other thing is with El Asesino, it's nice to dream about him being in a company, but I don't think he's going to do so great with someone telling him what to do. Not so good with authority, El Asesino. I think he's much more suited to being a journeyman wrestler on the road, facing a new opponent in a new company every night. He's done the ice road tours. He's gone all around Canada and a good chunk of the States as well. He's had a great career. I think at this point, he wants to call the shots 100% on everything he does.
And let's not argue the fact that he has fought some of the who's who of professional wrestling that have come through the prairie provinces and stuff like that. Papa Spokes. I mean, this is a guy that once, took on the likes of Jeff Cobb for the Ring of Honor television title here in Saskatoon. He's been in that ring with Matt Stryker back when Matt Stryker was in the ring. He has stepped in that ring with Kenny Omega prior to Kenny Omega's big, massive pop that he was getting in Japan and then inevitably AEW. So El Asesino has gone to the dance with many at the top names in the industry before and everything like that. So, I mean, he's always been capable, but I do believe that he will be sticking around the prairie provinces for the most part. So you'll be able to catch him on PPW. Every once in a while, you see him popping up in Love Pro Wrestling. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine like Love Pro Wrestling for LSSC, like the most hateful individual on the planet, and they bring him in to Love Pro Wrestling. This is supposed to be the place where people are loving each other, hugging, and loving everything about life. And here comes this guy that would rather put a chair across your skull than ever give you a hug and wish you well.
Well, and I like what Andre C. said about El Asesino after seeing him at a Love Wrestling show. Soon as he comes out, I hate this guy. I hate this guy.
Yeah. And you do hate this guy every time he walks out for PPW. The fans hate him. Everybody hates him. I have not seen somebody get that much heat at a local show ever before, Papa Spokes. Everybody dislikes him. Even with how much shit that Shabazz pulls off, it doesn't matter. Shabazz could do the worst thing known to man possible inside that ring, and El Asesino would take more heat at the end of the night.
Yeah, without question. Shabazz also gets a massive, massive negative reaction from the fans. You want to like him a little bit also because despite what a nefarious character he is, he's big. He looks good. He's a handsome guy. He's what a wrestler should look like too. There's part of everybody that wants to like Sheik Shabazz as well, but I mean his actions far outweigh any of those feelings that the PPW nation have. Now, never mind Asesino. He doesn't take an ounce of anybody's BS in the crowd. And I mean, again, we just called a match that will be coming up on PPW's YouTube channel in the very near future, where you're going to see a great example of this, a great example out to fans why don't touch the wrestlers and don't get in wrestlers' faces, particularly not villainous bad guys like El Asesino, because that is one guy that ain't going to take a step back from anybody. In fact, he'll step forward right up closer to your face than that. You might regret that for a long time.
Yeah, and again, that fan, I'm sure, is going to be regretting it. Whether or not he'll actually come back to another PPW show, that is questionable.
Oh, he ain't coming back.
Yeah,
oh, yeah,
that was
he
his
ain't
first
coming
and only wrestling show that he's ever attended, and he got what was coming to him. That's for damn sure. And you're going to be, you'll be seeing that coming out here on YouTube in the next couple of weeks. Actually, I believe that we've got one more match coming this Saturday for you, and then we're going to be able to see that incident following what was a banger of a matchup between Sager and Michael Allen, Richard Clark. So, but definitely stay tuned to that coming up very, very soon. Last thing, Papa Smokes, that I want to talk about coming up at the Ring of Horrors that everybody gets excited about. I'm kind of jumping forward. We've talked Revengicide. We know there's a lot of answers to be had. Let's talk about the Ring of Horrors for a minute, because that gimmick battle royal that everybody loves. Everybody loves this time of year. They get to be their favorite wrestlers, come out, enjoy being their absolute favorite. Last year we saw Stone Cold Steve Austin, aka Taryn from Accounting, come out there and start giving out stunners, drinking beers, and taking wins. We saw some very, very interesting characters throughout this whole thing. We saw a very interesting Trish Stratus sighting in this one, and Trish might have got busted up in a very interesting way throughout that match, very comically. It was something else. I mean, you had the Short Kings coming in as Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. I thought that was clever last year too. I believe Sheik came in as Farouk, wasn't it? If not, yeah, Shiki was Farouk, and Rot was Bradshaw, and so we had a blast. It's going to be a good time again this year. The wrestlers always look forward to it. And again, Pop Smokes, last year we decided to partake for the first time ever. We actually decided to be a couple of our favorite commentary people when we did that match for YouTube. I got to ask, are we throwing the challenge down again? Will we be bringing back Jesse the Body Ventura and Ed Whalen to the commentary team for the Gimmick Battle Royal?
Well, I think so. It only suits the occasion, don't you think, Munson? And that was kind of fun. If everybody's going to do a little masquerade, a little pantomime, then why not us as well? The biggest challenge for me is to call you Whalen instead of Munson, but I actually hit them all last year. So let's do it. Let's go forward and do it some more. It's a wacky combination for sure. But hey, the Gimmick Battle Royal at Halloween time is everything wacky.
You bet. Yeah, and the best way to join us, of course, is always live. So if you happen to be in the Saskatoon area, either on Saturday, September the 14th, or Saturday, October the 26th, you're going to want to make sure you get those tickets I said earlier in the night. $30 gets you a seat. $15 from our sponsors, Hunter's Bowl or Glitch Gifts, is going to get you general admission standing room into the show. Standing in line, waiting at the doors, you might get in if we still have space. And if you do, it's going to cost you an extra $5. It'll be $20 at the door. So you're going to miss out on one extra beer. And that one extra beer could be the difference between a good night and an amazing night. I'll tell you. The beers are plenty at a PPW show, Pop Smokes.
Very much so. And I love the way our audience loves to come out. And they leave their cares and their troubles at the door. Like everybody... There's so many smiles, and from checking people's tickets on the way in and all that stuff, we see a lot of the fans entering. That's one of my favorite parts of working a PPW show, is to see the smiles and the anticipation and the little kids that come in with wide eyes because they've never been to a wrestling show yet, and they're thinking, holy, are there going to be big guys fighting in that ring right away? Mm-hmm. Am I going to be sitting or standing this close to the ring when a match is going on? It's awesome. It always takes me back to the times when I was a kid, first going to the AWA shows and just being wide-eyed, like, this is the wildest thing I've ever seen in my life. It's like a circus going on right in front of you with a freak show and an acrobatic act and a strength act and all the rest of it, all the drama and all the great action that goes into a PPW show. Just the anticipation on the faces of the fans. One of those things that's irreplaceable. I just love to see it.
Yeah, and even at the last show, the perfect example of this was a couple came there with their young son. I don't know how old he was, but not very old at all. He comes decked out as the Undertaker, full Undertaker gimmick costume on, and he's got his WWF old school title belt with him, his old school Intercontinental title belt. I'm like, this kid's awesome already. And then his parents go, we can barely get him to ever take this costume off. Like, he wants to dress as the Undertaker on a daily basis. This kid knows I like this kid already. And all through the night, you could see it in his eyes. He was loving that independent wrestling action, being right there. He, of course, in the end, intermission, his parents buying him a Short Kings t-shirt, and they were buying him Riley Cruz guitar picks, and Riley ended up signing a picture for the kid and giving him that, and he was just in love with it. And I gave him that last money chain spinner that I had and high-fiving him and stuff like that. So a great experience. I always appreciate that parents are bringing the kids. I know good buddy of mine, Brad from Chain Fire. You know, you've seen I did music videos for them. I'm going to be doing
Yep.
another one coming up. He's bringing his kids and his girlfriend out to the show this time around, so they're going to be front and center for their first PPW experience. I just can't wait to hear the reactions from them, especially first timers. I love hearing it from first timers.
Oh, yeah.
It's one thing to look on YouTube, but going there live, what is that experience like? How much difference it is going there as opposed to watching it online.
And it's weird too when you talk to some fans. I'm a huge fan of the first timers too, and I like to hear their feedback if possible. So every time I have a friend or associate that go to the matches, I always want to get the feedback from them. One thing I always get in the way that they start talking about it, they're not sure that local wrestling is going to be that good. You can tell some of those people don't expect it. Well, it's not going to be as good as the AEW, or it's not going to be as good as the SmackDown that I watch on TV. Well, it ain't far off. I'll tell you that much right now, because we've got wrestlers that care, wrestlers that have devoted their life and their training to this, wrestlers that feel the passion of competition inside. And when that translates into the action in the ring, a lot of these wrestlers have fought each other, fought on the same side of many battles. But when it gets in there, you will be entertained. PPW has a great roster. The matches are awesome. It's exciting all the way through. Once you get to those last two matches of the evening, you're really going to see something special. Every first timer I've talked to has been unsure at the beginning, but loving it by the end. And that's the kind of reaction that I love.
100%. And I got to second what Ed is saying right here,
Yes.
right now, Pop Smokes. Of course, do
Yes.
support independent wrestling. Find a show near you. Go spend that money. It is worth it. Do it for the wrestlers. And again, don't just go to support the company, support those wrestlers. If you can afford it, buy a t-shirt, buy a signed autograph, whatever it is you can do to support them. Because again, do wrestlers get paid to do a spot? Yes, they do. Is it a lot? No, considering the fact that they're traveling back and forth and stuff like that. And that's, you know, basically how they're trying to make a living most of the time, maybe supplementing it a bit with the, a part-time job on the side. You know, unlike people like ourselves, Bob Spokes, who we are working full-time all the time to support ourselves, these guys are out there doing their art, and that's how they do it. And you know what? It helps that much more when you buy that t-shirt, you buy that autograph picture, you buy those Riley Cruz guitar picks, whatever it is you can do to support. Man, and those things are cheap. I think he's got like 3 of them for $5 or something like that. Personal Riley Cruz printed guitar picks. Like, this kid is going to be a damn star for us. I'm telling you right now.
No, and supporting the wrestlers financially by buying their merch is an awesome thing, and it helps them so much. But when you buy that from them, you get just a small moment with that wrestler right up close where they see you and you see them. It's a nice thing. And that wrestler is glad and happy and feels better that someone's buying their stuff, because it means that they like them and that there's that support there. And we've talked in the past about wrestling community. We've talked about the Saskatoon wrestling community, the way it comes together sometimes with a shared love of wrestling and of the fellow fans. So many of our fans are friends and friendly with each other too. It is a community. It is people together doing the thing that they love, supporting the thing that they love. Get in on it. It's a warm feeling. It's awesome. Just like Ed says, get in there and support it and be part of the community. It's fun and supportive.
Yeah, you bet. And as Bobby's saying, and all different wrestlers travel from different countries, Australia, England, Canada, all across the globe, you know, the United States, going back and forth between countries and stuff like that. You got passports, you got travel. So yeah, of course you're going to get certain things comped, but that's time away from family. It's time away from friends and all these kind of things. And even just that little part, like even, you know, that little bit of money isn't all that it, the words I'm trying to say it isn't the absolute everything. Sometimes it is just the fact that you're going there and showing them that support when they are away from their family, their kids, their loved ones, anything like that. They're missing those people, and you go up to get an autographed picture or whatever it takes. You buy a shirt and get a picture with them. it means the world to them, because right then and there, they're looking for somebody to brighten their day up when they've been taken away from family like that on the road.
Yeah, so much so. And we do ours at the sort of halftime or the intermission. I always call it halftime. It's not exactly halfway through the card, but once again, I'm a football guy. I call it halftime. But anyway, those wrestlers will come out, have their wares with them, come out with some cash, support the guys. It's a great feeling all around, and you get some cool swag.
Exactly. And you know that he's not here with us tonight, unfortunately, but Basser, he's always got about 6 or 7 of those shirts that he's got on so that he can keep switching between every time
Yeah, I know.
comes out. That's showing some love for independent wrestling right there. So thank you, Bass. If you're watching on replay, thanks, brother. We always appreciate it. But Papa Smokes, anything else you want to add to the PPW conversation here before we wrap things up?
Not really. This has been a good one, though, and I love these shows that talk about PPW because we can really do the deep dive. We kind of have a little bit of the info that's going on behind the scenes, but frankly, not so much more than the fans have. No spoilers here or anything like that. But we want to promote the next cards. We've got 2 in 2 months coming up, including the big one, Ring of Horrors, our PPW Mania at the towards the end of October there, and that's the big show. That's what it all revolves around. That's what all the storylines, all the webs come together for that show. It's going to be absolutely electric. Tickets for that one are going to go fast. Get those now if you can, because it's going to go fast. Don't get left out in the cold. We got wild action coming up for PPW. All you Saskatoon wrestling heads, get ready because it's coming.
It's going to be a good one. And remember, next Thursday night, right here on the channel, that man right there from the Divine Light, SPW's own James Shaw, joining the Video Bros live here on the show. Bobby saying the TNA has signed Heather Reckless to a contract, and they announced on TNA's X account. I'll have to check into who that is, Bobby, but I'll take your word on it that that's a good signing for TNA. I hope nothing but for the best for them. Sounds like they might be losing a few people here, too. According to someone we're familiar with, Pop Smokes, Giselle Shaw recently asking for a release from TNA. It's going to now be working for Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling. Scott D'Amore reinventing the name Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling here in Canada and going to be putting on one hell of a show. 2 nights, in fact, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's a couple of nights over on Fight TV that's going to happen. I've kind of been thinking about ordering it, Papa Smokes. It's been kind of just lingering there. I'm like, this is going to be a Canadian-based promotion that's going to be taking place with, a guy who was in charge of booking TNA recently that a lot of people love, a lot of big names coming to join them for it. Could be a good card. I think that I might be interested in ordering it. Maybe we'll have to both check it out for a review on the show here as well, too.
Sure, I'm down. So I was wondering about that. Maple Leaf Wrestling, it's not just going to be a series of shows, but he is starting an entire promotion.
Yeah, brand new promotion. Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling.
Did Scott get fired from TNA recently?
I don't know what the deal was for sure. I know if Astrid's still listening, would have more of the details on Scott D'Amore's departure from TNA, whether it was a firing or parting of ways, not, working out with, Anthem or whoever it is that's a part of things over there. But either way, not only has he left, but he's starting up this new promotion. Okay. Yeah. Ed's confirmed here. He left. So he actually left. He's starting up Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling here in Canada. So again, this could be an opportunity for names across the Canadian provinces to maybe start getting some actual opportunity with not an established company, but some established pros within the business being able to help them out and gaining that momentum. So I'm very much looking forward to it. Thinking about ordering it. I'm going to take it into high consideration. And if we do, we'll make sure to share that up so that we can do a review of it as well, too. So, but with that said, Papa Smokes, I think I just saw those dollar signs go up, and I saw them go up in the form of that ticker right there. Let the people know where they can find you.
All right, sounds good, Bob. Papa Smokes can be found at Elon Musk's Free Speech Wonderland, also known as X. I am at Smokes @Papa. You can also find me on Twitch at Papa_Smokes_.
Awesome. That's where you can find Bob Smokes. As for myself, over on the X, it's at Real Bobby Munson. Instagram Threads at Video Bros SK. And on the Twitch, it's at Video Bro _Bobby Munson. You're going to be able to find us this Saturday at Prairie Pro Wrestling with a new match release there. So make sure to check out Prairie Pro Wrestling over on the YouTube. On Point of View this Sunday, Mark Robinson and I are going to be back at it, probably doing some more football, aka soccer talk there for you. So make sure you join along with us there. Ed and I have got that awesome Beetlejuice review coming up very soon, and hopefully we'll be joined by the most amazing Josie Marie there on the channel as well too. So looking forward to that opportunity. Make sure you tuned in right here on OLE Podcast. They're right there down below. That's where you can find us across the board. OLE Podcast on Instagram, Threads, X, Facebook, whatever you name it, YouTube, Twitch. We're right there. Make sure that you like, follow, subscribe, do all those other things. It's September over on Twitch. If you want to throw us a sub, subs are still ridiculously overpriced. Thanks a lot, Twitch. But if you're feeling saucy and you're feeling like sharing some love, we would appreciate that. So please show that love. But you know what? YouTube, it's free. You don't pay a cent. Hit the subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up. Give us a comment. Click that notification bell. And you'll know every time that there's a new thing going on right here at OLE Podcast. Last thing of the night, Bobby saying Eric Young can help out Scott Diamore. Totally agree with that right there. And saying a great show. Thanks, Bobby. Love the support. Thank you, my friend. That's going to be it from us this week. Tune in next week as we're joined by SPW's James Shaw. From myself, from Papa Smokes. Have a good rest of your Thursday. Take care, everybody. We'll see you in a week's time.